In our national lead, they're some of the most decorated athletes in American history, and now they're hoping a renewed focus on one of the biggest scandals in the history of sports can finally bring them justice. Earlier this week, we all saw Simone Biles, Michaela Maroney, Maggie Nichols, and Aly Raisman testify before the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee about how the FBI grossly mishandled investigations into the sexual abuse they and hundreds of others suffered at the hands of disgraced Dr. Larry Nassar. Joining us now, Olympic gold medalist Aly Raisman. Aly, great to see you. Before I get to my questions, I know this has been a very difficult week for you and your fellow gymnasts. How are you holding up?
Thank you for having me on, and thank you for asking. To be honest, I'm doing better than I thought I would be doing. I'm definitely really exhausted right now. I think after this interview, I'll definitely lay down. I'm very drained. But to be honest, I feel really supported and really validated, which is a really nice feeling. And so that is something I'm really, really grateful for.
Yeah, that's good to hear because I've saw a lot of support, nonpartisan, bipartisan, all over the world expressed for you and your fellow gymnasts. Let's dive into it because Wednesday's hearing was specifically about FBI failures in the Larry Nassar investigation. You testified it took more than 14 months for the FBI to contact you, despite you requesting to be interviewed multiple times. The FBI director, Christopher Wray, he apologized, but I still haven't heard an explanation as to why these hideous crimes were not taken as seriously as they should have been. Have you?
No, I have not. And, we've been saying for years that we want a full, complete, independent investigation. And we still want that. I think there needs to be an investigation of the FBI, USAG, and USOPC, and also looking at the interplay among all three organizations. Because if we don't have answers, then we're relying on guesswork, and people that enabled our abuse might still be in positions of power. So saying that you're sorry, or we will never forget this will happen again, it's not enough. Those are just empty promises that we've been hearing for years.
Right before the hearing, the public learned that the supervisory FBI agent who mishandled the original case had been fired. The Washington Post identifies him as Michael Langman. Langman, however, is not being prosecuted, even though the inspector general says that he lied to investigators. Do you think Langman should be prosecuted? And is this one action, this firing against one FBI agent, is that enough?
Because there has not been a full independent investigation, I don't have the answers. And I think that we all deserve answers. And I think that kids going into sports or schools or anywhere, I think anyone should be able to go into gymnastics and feel safe knowing that they have the answers and that the people that enabled us aren't in power anymore. And so I think that, to be honest, I don't know, and I don't want to rely on speculation or guesswork to decide if someone should be prosecuted or not. I want to actually see the facts and the answers. So I think an independent investigation is crucial in this time. One
that you've been calling for years, I might note. So you and your teammates spoke about how you were failed by the adults around you who were meant to protect you. As you just stated, that includes USA Gymnastics, the Olympic Committee, and the FBI. That's a lot, but are there others? Are there other organizations, other adults outside of those three groups that failed you?
I definitely think MSU is one of those organizations. But furthermore, I think, again, I hate to sound like a broken record. I don't have all the answers. There are people that from my own experience, I can think that maybe enabled my abuse, or I can speculate from hearing other people's stories or experiences. But that's truly why we need an investigation to look at if there was another organization or another person involved outside of those organizations. I don't know.
The U.S. Olympic Committee created something called Safe Sport in 2017. That's after Nassar was arrested. The USOC says Safe Sport is, quote, a wholly independent body to investigate allegations of sexual misconduct in Olympic national governing bodies, unquote. You say that Safe Sport needs a lot of work. Is this not enough? Is it not a strong enough system to protect younger gymnasts in place right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know from experience of talking to teammates or just other survivors, or even honestly from my mom, when my mom has reported different types of things to Safe Sport. Safe Sport often they try to avoid doing it. Like they'll say you need to pass it on to this person, and then the person that we actually report to will say, we'll actually go back to Safe Sport. It's like they play hot potato with who should take the report. And I think that we really have to look at who Safe Sport is funded by. I don't believe it's a completely independent entity, and it needs to be. And I think that USA Gymnastics and USOPC really need to start taking a hard look at what they have set up. Since we've spoken out, there's not mandatory training for every single staff member, athlete, every single adult that steps into the gym, in my opinion, and every single child that's in the gym needs to be educated so we can prevent emotional, physical, sexual, mental, and everything in between for abuse. Without an independent investigation, without an entity that's completely separate that the reports are going to, and without education and prevention, we can't believe in a safer future. And USAG and USOPC are not doing that right now.
And lastly, you have so many fans because of your athletic prowess, and now beyond that, because of your courage and your strength and your boldness. So I have to ask, a lot of people care about you a lot. They love you from afar. What comes next for you? What's your next chapter?
Oh, well, thank you. That I'm very, very grateful for the support. I feel really, really lucky. And to be honest, I've learned over the last few years that the way a survivor heals is linked to how their abuse is handled. And as many people saw, our abuse has not been handled well. But I will say that the way that people have supported us has truly made such a big difference in my healing. So I just want people to know how much I appreciate that. It doesn't go unnoticed. It's what's helped me get out of bed on Wednesday morning, yesterday morning, and today. I do have a show actually coming out with Lifetime on Friday, the 24th of September. And the show is all about, I go on a journey with some survivors. We have conversations. We talk about healing, prevention, education, all different things. So I'm very grateful to have the platform that I have. And I wanted to give other people the chance to share their stories, because everyone's story is important no matter who you are.
Aly Raisman, thank you so much for your bravery and your strength and for making the world a better place for the next generation, not just of gymnasts, but of survivors. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
A woman who was